Hey fellow Mini Z racers, I just want to talk about one of the very frustrating issue with the Mini Z all-wheel drive. Doesn't matter whether it's the first generation or the second generation, both of them are having issue of centering after the turn. And I've been looking at the forum and tried to collect everyone's idea on how to fix this problem for good. So this video is sort of a collective idea from everyone and some from my own as well. I figure having a video is much easier to share what I've done. Hopefully that will help everyone on the forum here as well. First thing I think is highly recommended from the folks is to clean off that servo cover, the interior of the servo cover, so that it will clear from touching the servo saver. Another thing you probably notice is I have cut the servo cover into two. That's because it makes it easier for me to access the servo assembly, especially after taking apart so many times. All I need to do is just unscrew the two screw and I can take it out, and then I can see what's going on with the servo assembly. Another thing I have, you notice, is I got the atomic servo saver. The atomic servo saver is good, except I believe there's a design flaw. If you look at this side here, I actually has shaved it off quite a bit because it's actually touching the servo assembly, preventing it from turning all the way. So that's probably what you need to do if you want your car to have full turn, a balanced turn from either side. And then another thing is the rod here that goes to the servo saver. After a while you start noticing there's a movement. Even now you can see that a bit. So what I've done is I will put a piece of tape before I put the servo saver mount back on. I put a piece of tape there so that it will reduce movement. Another thing that's very difficult to see is I have glued a piece of plastic right behind the servo saver. Originally the servo saver cover has a little notch in the back that pushes the rod to secure the servo saver, but after a while I noticed that it's still having the movement. So instead of relying on the original servo cover, I just glue a tiny piece of plastic there so that it will secure the rod that secure the servo saver a bit better. And then another thing worth to check is try to move the servo gear, servo assembly. You should feel a very smooth motion all the way, even with the servo motor on it. And the servo motor, I've changed it to the atomic servo motor. I don't know whether it's any better, but at one point I was really desperate in trying to get it going straight again. So it is an aftermarket atomic servo motor. It's very hard to come by. I doubt you can. It's very hard to find these days. Other than that, try to see if there's any play within these gears. At one point I also put a tiny piece of plastic right behind here so that it will push it a little bit tighter, but these days I figured it is still pretty okay without a piece of paper, so I took it out. Another thing that is the bottom part, these four screws here, I think a couple of us recommended not to tighten too much, and I totally agree with that. So what I did is, with the tie rod and mounted, and with the plate mounted, tighten it to a point that when you try to turn, you shouldn't hear any kind of jamming or gearing sound. If you hear that jamming sound, that means it's too tight, and just loosen the screw a bit until the sound go away. That's pretty much all I've done. It just takes a lot of kind of trial and error to figure out. It's a kind of a big mess, but hopefully that will help you guys taking care of the centering problem and start to enjoy the all-wheel drive car again. Good luck.